Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective, and today we have an interesting machine here for you. This is a Lenovo Legion Y7000. Now, the Y7000 is a unique Legion in the sense that it was sold in a very specific market at a very specific target. And if you squint really hard, this will actually look like other laptops in the Legion series that you might be more familiar with. We're going to go ahead and dive into what makes this machine so unique, especially when we compare it against its brothers. I can't say that they're big brothers or little brothers. It's kind of complicated. So the Y7000 is also known as the 81FW, which is a Chinese version of the Legion line. If you look up information on this, it might be a bit tricky to find, especially if you do not speak Chinese. It is a special version of essentially of the Y530 that was designed for large retail outlets. And Alan No of Notebook Check, when this came out, did a pretty comprehensive comparison between this model, the Y530, and the Y730. The Y7000 had very much a gamer aesthetic, more so than the other two models, and it sported the connectivity and the keyboard from the Y530, but the IPS panel and the battery from the larger Y730. A lot of machines around this era were using 9th generation Intel CPUs. This one, however, is equipped with an 8th generation Intel CPU. So let's dive right into those specs. We do have a 15.6-inch 1920 by 1080 IPS display, and the two CPUs that I can determine that came with this were either an i5-8300H or an i7-8750H. GPUs were either a NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti with 4 gigabytes or a 1060, apparently also shipped with it, although finding more specific details on that is a little challenging. It also came, of course, with the integrated Intel UHD 630 for when the machine isn't gaming. A few other things to note about this before we take it apart is it does have a nose cam down here right beneath the Legion logo. So the quality on that will not be phenomenal. You have two 2-watt speakers located in the chassis with a Realtek 8111H Wi-Fi card with Bluetooth built in. A few other things to note is that it does have a 3-cell 52.5 watt-hour battery. Let's go ahead and do a quick tour of some of the ports and features. We do have a modestly sized trackpad with some very clicky buttons, as we would expect. Our WASD keys have some red accents for that gamer look. The numpad over here is especially unique, and I don't know, you're either going to love it or hate it, but there it is. For a lot of games, having a numpad is convenient, but that configuration is certainly not standard. If we close the laptop and look on the left-hand side, we have a headphone microphone combo jack and USB Type-A. Along the back, we have a Kensington lock slot, our power plug, and that is for the square Lenovo, or the rectangle style Lenovo plug, because you need a big power supply to drive this. You have your Ethernet port, HDMI, another USB port, a DisplayPort Mini, and then USB Type-C. And then finally, on the right-hand side, we have some LED indicator lights and another USB-A port. Let's go ahead and take it over to the vertical camera and see what this thing looks like on the inside. So we have a series of 4 screws along the bottom, 2 on the side, 4 on the top, and 1 in the middle. It is worth noting these screws are not captive, so having a clean work surface or a magnetic tray is not a bad idea. We can very clearly see 2 fans that are going to intake air from the bottom of the machine, and they are going to exhaust that out the rear. So to get maximum performance, you are going to want to make sure that this is appropriately placed with a gap to take in fresh air from the bottom. The screws are not all the same, so just keep that in mind. The ones at the back are significantly longer, and the ones up front are much shorter. All right, with those screws out, wow, that is crazy easy to open. I appreciate that. Okay, so we've got a couple of interesting things actually going on in here. We do have a 2.5-inch bay that is currently unpopulated. And it looks like you could easily add additional storage here. So even if with a 2.5-inch SSD to throw all your games on and your applications and operating system on the M.2 NVMe over here, means that you would have a decent amount of storage for any sort of demanding applications that you would use this for. Small detail, this is a 51 watt-hour battery as opposed to the 52.5 watt-hour battery I was told I would find in here. And this is also not the Wi-Fi card I was told that I was going to find in here. And I pulled all of that information right from the spec sheet of the serial number. So I'm not too sure entirely what's going on there. Could very well be that the back cover is incorrect and does not match this machine. But that is definitely an Intel Wi-Fi card. The CMOS battery is going to be located underneath the main battery. We can see the red wires just disappear underneath there. We have 2 RAM slots staring us up in the face. And I believe I forgot to mention that the maximum RAM on this thing, I believe, according to the specification sheet, is 32 gigs, 2 sticks of 16. I wouldn't be surprised, though, given the CPU, if it wouldn't also recognize 2 sticks of 32. You'll have to do a little bit of reading online to see if the Y7000 does support that or not. It looks like this cooling system has seen some better days. The fan grill here has definitely been damaged at some point. I don't know under what conditions. You can kind of see it just along that top edge there. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty straightforward machine. Not very difficult to service at all, and does give you a little bit of room to grow. We also have our 2 speakers here kind of firing in the downward direction. They probably end up bouncing off the table and like kind of right at you. The only other thing to note, small detail, is that there's a daughter board here connected to the motherboard for the USB. Okay, so let's throw the cover back on. All right. Here is the big beefy power supply I was talking about earlier. This one's going to deliver 230 watts, which is probably a little more than this machine needs. But hey, there's no good to kill is overkill, right? So we're going to plug this in and turn it on. Funny fact, the repair that was required to get this up and running, done by my friend, was actually just the power button. It was DOA, but it was a pretty inconsequential fix. And I do have to say, always hard to tell on a camera, but that panel for a 1920 by 1080 looks quite sharp. Like, it is very pretty. So after running a series of 3D Mark benchmarks, it becomes pretty clear that while the T50 Ti is not a slouch and it can run DirectX 12 applications, it will struggle with a lot of modern stuff unless you dial down those settings to something pretty basic. Anything DirectX 11, though, it seems to run pretty well. And yeah, just walk into it with realistic expectations. This thing did get pretty loud. The fans were running anywhere between 60 to 70 decibels. So you're either going to want to have a good set of headphones or these speakers turned up to max just to kind of drown out all of that fan noise. The Y7000 series is not common to see for sale, at least not in North America or North American websites, because it is a Chinese exclusive device that was sold primarily through large volume retailers. However, the Y530 and Y730 do have somewhat similar configurations if you're looking for something like this. It just doesn't have quite the same physical aesthetic as those two devices. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed taking a quick look at this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.